Hey Farm Bureau! We're filming from the General Assembly building today as things are really heating up with only 1 week left until crossover. Thank you, Delegate Webert, for letting us use your conference room.
That's right. Legislators have until February 4th to get their bills passed through their home chamber, so everyone's working overtime. Caitlin, fill us in on what's been happening in the energy space this week.
Something we continue to stress to our legislators is that our lands are a finite resource. As the Commonwealth works up against the clock to meet the goals of the Virginia Clean Economy Act, Virginia Farm Bureau continues to advocate for the siting of solar facilities on existing infrastructure instead of farmland. House Bill 2113, patroned by Delegate Charnel Herring, creates the Solar Interconnection Grant Fund and Program, which would award grants to public bodies to offset interconnection costs of solar facilities to the grid. Most critically, the bill requires that priority be given to solar facilities located on previously developed sites. The bill passed out of House Labor and Commerce and was re-referred to House Appropriations. This often happens when legislation has a fiscal impact to the Commonwealth. Another bill, House Bill 2037, carried by Delegate Bulova, also moved forward this week. This would empower localities to adopt an ordinance requiring the installation of solar panels on larger non-residential parking lots as a condition of development. Farm Bureau supports both of these bills.
Much conversation this session has been dominated by energy, its consumption, its generation, and its cost. This is due in large part because of a recently released report from the Virginia Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission on data centers and how they impact the Commonwealth. While these facilities are major sources of revenue for localities, they are also major consumers of energy and water. To put it in perspective, it has been reported that at least 70% of the world's internet traffic runs through Northern Virginia alone.
That's right, Jake. Countless pieces of legislation have been introduced to address data centers, and Farm Bureau is happy to support legislation this session that seeks to consider the impacts of these facilities on our natural resources. For example, House Bill 1601 by Delegate Thomas requires any locality, prior to the siting of a high energy use facility or data center, to have the applicant submit a site assessment on the sound profile on nearby residential areas and schools. Importantly, the bill allows that the site assessment can include impacts to nearby water, agricultural resources, parks, and registered historic sites, or forest land. House Bill 1601 has made it out of the House and will be heard next in a Senate committee.
Water usage is always top of mind when discussing data centers, and a bill carried by Delegate Kent, House Bill 1909, to study the impacts of surface water withdrawals and their impacts on salinity and water quality in the Bay and its tributaries, passed the House Ag Committee this week. Senator Stewart carried a similar bill, and it passed Senate rules this morning.
This afternoon, Senate Commerce and Labor will meet to discuss a vast slate of energy-related bills. Virginia Farm Bureau staff was at the Capitol well after 11 p.m. last night, ensuring that agriculture had a seat at the table on these bills. A new version of a bill was released this morning after last night's discussions, and we are evaluating it with our main priority being to maintain a local government's ability to have a say in the siting of these facilities. We would also like to provide localities with more technical resources in the evaluation of the siting of utility-scale solar facilities. When we chat next week, the path forwards for many bills, like these, will be much clearer.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you on February 3rd for Legislative Day. See you all next week.